Kia ora. So yes, I am Bailey, and I'm a co-founder of Cultivate Christchurch, and it's actually really humbling and an honour to stand here after listening to you speak, Bjorn. 10 minutes, I can't really reach the expanses of what we do in our organisation, but it was really heartwarming to see what the full extent of urban farming and the potential of urban farming and the different conversations that it leans into, because it's very much our experience here in Christchurch, although quite a distinctly different context and distinctly different landscape. So I'm the underground scientist for Cultivate as well, which is a title given to me because I keep talking about weird ways of building soil and growing food, and so this is a little bit of a story about that. So we're actually a youth development organisation. Our core purpose is to work with the rangatahi of Christchurch, and really we are a space for them to feel safe and to connect with one another, connect with the land, and be of service to their community, but also to find what it is within themselves that is their calling, their duty, their sense of purpose in society, and then help to guide them towards that. And that's what we're cultivating in each and every individual who comes to our site. In the process, we can produce food, so we do that youth work in the context of urban farms that we've built in Christchurch, and essentially what we're doing is what we call organic psychotherapy, which, when you understand the backgrounds that some of the kids we work with, I mean, we all have different, we all go through difficult patches in our lives. Every young person goes through some kind of coming of age and finding their identity and finding places where they're accepted and recognised, and that's an incredibly dark space, and I don't need to tell you the statistics about how poorly our young people are faring in New Zealand, in particular Māori. So the garden is a great leveller and a great place to hang out together and connect and be in an atmosphere, in an environment where everything is thriving to be the best version of itself. Everything is striving to be the best version of itself. There's a pretty boring but quite profound quantum to this, which is what government officials and funders like to hear and talk about. But for each one of those young people who we get off the benefit and into something, anything other than the benefit in the justice system, we're saving the taxpayer money, and we're on a trajectory where we can do that at an increasingly higher rate. And our success has been pointed to now across the country since we started in 2015. And this is a very narrow view at the value of the outcomes we're getting. We're not touching on a whole range of other outcomes related to health, biodiversity, all sorts, waste minimisation, but I'll come to that. How we've built this farm. So this place, it's hard to find north in this building, but it's how I work. I think it's that way, about 150 metres. In this picture up the top, basically if you walk straight through the trees there, you'd walk into this theatre. The bottom is how we found it. There's about 10 centimetres of screen topsoil on top of compacted rubble, a site which was cleared post-earthquake. And the photo at the top is 3 months later. We started by collecting food waste from local restaurants and composting that on site and using all kinds of different weird and wonderful ways of activating the biological potential of the space. And so over 4 years we've built a few cubic metres of soil which we can produce food in, which we sell to local restaurants. We picked up other sites around town, so this is some land out Horswell Way, which is becoming subdivision. We have use of that space for a couple of years, and this is now what we're doing there. We've got about a quarter of it in actual production, and that comes back into town and is sold to restaurants. We've inspired other groups around the country, so this is an urban farm that's popped up in Auckland, and as a result we've started forming a collective of urban farmers and an urban farming alliance, which is represented across 5 of our major centres now in New Zealand, and kind of just getting started, but MPI, Ministry of Primary Industries, is starting to pay attention as well, because it does have a lot of the things that Bjorn talked about just before, the touch points with people in the community where you can talk about the reality of where your food comes from and the work involved, even if it is at a micro scale. It's a chance to talk about it. This is a schematic for 2 hectares around the Ōtautahi River to Richmond, and we're just about to sign off on a lease with Life and Vacant Spaces to reactivate this space as an urban farm. I think more importantly, we're starting to have some really exciting conversations with mana whenua around how these spaces act as places for people to then go out and practice the much broader concept of environmental management, environmental stewardship, which for Māori is mahinga kai and many other things. But I think most simplest translation comes back to mahinga kai. And Māori are recognising in the work that we do with Ngāi Tahu in particular, are recognising that the work we're doing with young people in Christchurch is connecting with a lot of Ngāi Tahu kids, and I think there's a beautiful collaboration that is unfolding there. It's also helping us recognise that we're just another generation of many that are trying to live in the spirit of being fully connected and fully responsible for how we relate to our lands. This is the system in a nutshell. We collect the food waste, compost it, grow food, and the cycle continues. There's a lot more of that food waste to collect in Christchurch. We currently get 2.5 tonne of it a week, and I know in the CBD there is at least 50 tonne a week. We're trying to raise funds to scale up our current system. We had to cap it 2 years ago because word of mouth became translated to high demand for our service. Even though we were just trying to build soil, we realised that there was a commercial need and an ecological need, and so an accidental business which we've literally tried to bury because it's just too difficult for us to manage. And we've reached out for help, reached out for support, even successfully crowdfunded for it 2 years ago, but it still doesn't have the support it needs, because I don't think it's actually been recognised as critical infrastructure for the city. Behind that, young people and frankly people of all ages from all walks of life who keep turning up every week in, week out, rain, hail or shine, to connect with this as a way of being, as a genuine livelihood, whether it's a small part of their life or what they dedicate their lives to. They just want to be connected to it. They're coming from all over the world, and I think Christchurch has, with the space available and the spirit of not only unity that is born in the relationship with Māori and embodied in the treaty, the latest spirit of collaboration and connectedness and community that's come out of the post-earthquake context in Christchurch. I think we have a massive opportunity to lead join the leaders of the world in urban agriculture. And young people have got a lot of energy to unleash as well, and a lot of potential. So at the core of it, we just want to build more farms and train more young people and help them find their way. So to finish, there's a local elder who has been supporting us with bringing more reo and tikanga into what we do, and he's gifted us this whakatauki, which I absolutely love, but I think it sums up basically what we're doing. The most fundamental level, we're giving people, in particular our young people, a sense of hope that there is a place for them and a place to be in the future that is healthy and super productive and has a lot of intrinsic value. So, yeah, that's me.